Good evening. Your time now is 5:52. I'm Jeannette Reyes.
And I'm Kosar Abdi, and this is Off the Record.
Not for real. This is Off the Record.
Creative Collective was growing while I was, building my job at NBC. And so it got to the point where I was doing Creative Collective on the weekends. Creative Collective has now grown to be the largest community for Black and Brown creatives, providing resources and accessibility for them. But it started in my living room. And so it was 10 people that I invited over. And the whole goal was that I felt pretty isolated in terms of community. I knew where the best day parties were, but you're not doing a lot of yapping at day parties. And so I was like, where is there a space where you can ask about how do you get a promotion? What's executive presence? How do you start an LLC? And so I invited 10 friends over. I made tacos for them. And the only rule was that you had to bring someone you could vouch for. So then it was 20 people. Then it was 40 people. And I honestly had my eyes on my corporate role. This was something I was doing for just pure community and fun. And it kept growing. And so there was a time where I was doing NBC from 8 a.m. to probably 10 p.m. because I was doing Watch What Happens Live. So sometimes even midnight. And then I would come home, take a power break, eat some empanada mama, my favorite. And then I would work on Creative Collective for like 2 hours.
Ma'am, it's like 2 a.m.
It's 2 a.m. I would work on Creative Collective for like 2 hours. Then I would get another power break and then I would do it again. And then on the weekends, all Creative Collective. And I was operating at a level of like almost obsession. And then it got so big that I realized that I had to leave my dream job for my next dream job.
The pivot doesn't start when you're actually moving from one job to the next. It's when you in your mind quietly say, I'm deciding I need to leave this thing. And then the rest is just logistics. I think a lot of people think you pivot when you hate your job. It can be your dream job.
My dream job. And that's how I knew it was my dream job. It was so hard to leave. And I think that is such a blessing to be like, I love you so much. That's why I have to go. Because I would stay here forever. Yeah, I really would.
I went for a promotion. I didn't get it. But I was like a little sad about it. And I called Jeannette. And I was just like, yeah, like it didn't work. And she was like, damn. No, I know. You just said something that cracked me the fuck. Like we ended up dying laughing to the point where I couldn't even take it seriously anymore. I was like, you know what? It is. I could just laugh at it. And I just moved on from there. But
It's
do you
funny.
remember what you said?
I don't remember. I do remember you said, I got something to tell you. And I was like, don't piss me off.
Yeah.
Because I was nervous that it would be that. Because I think it was the kind of thing where it's like it's kind of so frustrating that it's almost laughable.
Yeah.
And when I got off the phone with you, Robert couldn't believe what the actual topic was because he was like, y'all are just cracking up.
Yeah.
But I guess that's how you cope. But I do want to ask you seriously, though, how do you feel about it? Once the dust settles, because it was shortly after you got the news, how do you feel?
You know what's so funny is for the first time in my life, I'm actually like, I could be a bit or Becky, right? Like I could be someone who's like, oh, okay.
I'm burning this place down.
Yeah, right. I really do finally see when people say like everything happens for a reason. And I was in a really good place where I was like, it can go either way, right? This move would have obviously required me to go to LA. And we just bought a house. Don't ask me what the plan was, because the plan was like, we'll figure it out in real time. But I also was like, it can go any way.
Yeah.
I think what I realized is like, did I put my best foot forward? Yes, I did. Are there circumstances outside of my control? Yes. And I think I've gotten to a point finally that I'm like, okay, well, you don't know what's behind the other door. And I really say that from experience. I really do think at my big 34-year-old age, my little 34-year-old age, that I can finally say there have been so many times I've been devastated about not getting something, and there was something better that immediately came that was almost laughable that I was crying over something.
Yeah.
The other part of it too is there are not many things I do get rejected for, right? Because I'm like, oh, like I try to put my best foot forward and fortunately things work out. But I'm learning now that it's okay for things not to go your way. And in fact, you end up playing small when things always go your way. We talked about that in one episode where it's like things kind of go your way because you're like, I know this, I'm gonna stay in this lane and it's okay. And so now I realize that like maybe I did shoot a little bit above, but hell yeah, I did. And I should go there.
I'm gonna say what I gotta say because there's only so much you can say. What made me frustrated for you is that this year, and especially in the last few months, particularly with the Diddy trial, like I think you were the personification of what it is to be at the intersection of traditional and social media.
Yeah.
And having worked in the field, I see how challenging it's been for traditional media to find relevance and staying power and hell, virality in amongst audiences that they're really kind of shooting for.
Yeah.
And the timing of you, not just like, it's different if it was like you were like competitive. You were the person that owned that space with the trial of the decade, that it was just like, man, you accomplished that much so close to this decision. And for it to not have been enough is probably something a lot of people can relate to, particularly Black women can relate to. But that's what I meant by like, sometimes you can only laugh at how frustrating things are. So I will say that piece because, yeah. So anyway, but you're right. I will say that what's yours is yours and that people can't take that away from you. I'll also say that ultimately sometimes you look back at our big age, you realize sometimes you're thankful that some things didn't work out. Like you're like, thank God I didn't get my way.
And it's funny because I'm already seeing that. I'm already like, you know what?
But I don't think you overshot. Sorry, I have to correct you. I don't think you overshot.
I appreciate that.
I think sometimes you're bigger than something and you don't realize it because there has just not been a space created for someone like you.
How different do you think your career and your experience would be if you came up now?
Oh,
in the age of social media where you get immediate reaction and criticism and praise to your work.
You know what I think is hard with now is because social media is a route. Unlike when I was a kid, you just had to be an actor or be in commercials or do music or do the thing. Like you had to have a skill set. Now it's kind of like turn on your camera and maybe we could just like, I don't know, do sketches. Maybe we could do dares. Maybe we could just do something to gain attention. And that doesn't necessarily mean that kid wants to be an actor. That's just fame. That's fame chasing. And I think that's hard. I could not imagine being 12 or 11 and going to an audition and then some kid walks in that's got 1 million followers. I wouldn't know what to do. Like, because now as an adult, I'm still like, really? But like as a kid, I think it would really confuse you. And how would your parents figure that out? Like, because even now, parents have such a hard time kind of keeping up. Like your parents literally got to keep up with all of the stuff, all of the trends or the headshots or where to live or all of those kind of things. And so, yeah, I don't even know. I don't even want to think about what it could be like. Cause I'm like, I feel very active in my social media and even that is challenging for me as an adult. It's tiring. It's all of these things. And so I think the scariness of the internet for a kid who I would almost want to ask the question of like, well, what are you seeking? Like, why do you have to be on social media?
Yeah.
And if it is like, oh, because, well, we're trying to get in front of NBC, be like, dang. We got to be on social media to do that instead of just like the traditional route, like go to pilot season, get an agent, like things like that. That felt safer when I was a child.
I think how people receive you is none of your business. And I mean that kindly, and it's something that I've had to tell myself as well. And I would also look at yourself as an asset, right? Like you're not coming back in a position of, I don't think, a position of weakness. You're coming back with experience. You're coming back with a fresh perspective. You're coming back with a number of things that your colleagues who stayed there perhaps don't have. So I would look at yourself that way. And the minute that you believe that about yourself, I think it'll really impact how you do your work and even how your peers view you.